a bit of a lag. There'll be people there. It just takes a little bit of time before the numbers show up. Or I didn't put listed as public. So if in 20 seconds time there's no one here, I made this an unlisted live. It looks like that might be. There we go. It's just slow. We got the thumbs up. We got one. There we go. Okay, so it's working. How are we, YouTube? At the Anvil's place. We've kind of just finished training. Man, look, can we pick a better angle where I look like I've got a bicep as opposed to... I come really close. There we go. Look at the size of my arm relative to Lachlan's. What's happening, everyone? G'day, Aussies living in Ireland or holding hands, says Procrastinator. Blue, how are you? Awake? Yeah, how am I awake? It's true, I've been up since 1 a.m. I had an hour and a half nap in the middle of the day and then I had other shit to do. But I'm just, at this point in time, I'm just kicking on. Like I said, we've actually already done the training, so we're just here to say g'day, have a chat. So if you randomly got any questions for myself or Lachlan, hit us up. You guys lead the conversation where it's going. Obviously, we just had all the East versus West stuff, so I'm going to assume people are going to ask you about that, Lachlan.
Huh?
I'm assuming people are going to ask you about the East versus West stuff.
We could probably in the meantime talk about your new handles and how to use them.
No, that's boring. That's boring.
Okay.
They are good. Just everyone just go buy them. That's the better.
They're really good. Use your imagination. Absolutely.
But yeah, hit us up. What's going on? If you've got any questions, like I said, at the Anvil's place. Here we go. Look, we missed a whole bunch of questions. We didn't have the settings right. G'day, everyone. What is your take? What would it take for you to beat Lachlan from Larritt Bastard? There's any number of things that could make the difference. Fundamentals, if we talk broadly in the fundamentals, previously it was my wrist flexion against your pronation that gave me options. That's since been closed, so we could say, make my wrist flexion stronger. Timing. I don't think timing's enough right now. No. Not right now. I can go when the referee's saying don't move, and it doesn't matter right now. But man, just more of any of the fundamentals. Give me enough of any fundamental will change it. But the thing is, it's a lot. What's going on with these chats? I can't see it. Show me the chats, YouTube. Oh, now we've got screen brightness going down on me. Apologies for my finger. There we go. You can see a bit more. Arm Wrestling UAE, hello, I'm glad. Follow you guys. Yeah, UAE is doing pretty well. It's nice to see what's going on over there. Where can I buy the pulley thing behind Lachlan, or did you guys build it?
The pulley thing behind me, if you're in America, it's like Walmart, but I've had to reinforce it with some extra large cables. It's not been...
Yeah, bring this a little closer so we can read this stuff.
But anyway, man, it's a plate-loaded bit of gear.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, I got that for 400. What was it? No, it was 300, and the extra cable was like $20, and then the loading pin. I don't know if you keep pulling.
We might see the loading pin.
Adam got me that loading pin. That weighs 11.5 kilos, and I just bolted that in, so because I bent the last one.
Ryan, when are you performing in the WAL again?
Performing. It's a bit passive aggressive.
That's a good question. When they call and they touch base every 3 months or so, they send out an email to myself and the other people that were previous on the roster, just saying, hey, we're still here, we're still alive, we're actually in a good position, we're just waiting for the conditions to be permissible for international travel, really.
Lachlan's best man speech is going to haunt you. It haunts me. I don't do speeches. That was terrible, and I botched it.
It was good.
That was Taryn. He just had... I had to go with your Superman.
Yeah, who won? Taryn. Oh, we've got a super chat in. Let's see. Josh Barker.
Oh,
good on you, Josh. $5. He says, if you could train with anyone, Lockie, who would it be? That's a good question.
Oh, train with... Engen, Giannis again. There's going to be a list. Engen, Giannis, Gennady Kivakvinia.
There you go. That's the first name that I approve of. And it's not no respect to Engen or Giannis, but I'd like to see you
I'd like
bang
him
with.
to
I'd
be
like to
in
see
the
you.
room
Oh yeah.
with Gennady.
So those guys are critiquing and picking whilst
Yeah.
you're pulling Gennady.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, you're like training with Giannis, you can listen to the man.
Yeah, no, it's about having him there, training
Yeah,
around him.
Okay.
Gennady, I think he's really good, and who else I think is really technical? I think Krasi would be really interesting to train with.
Yeah. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, and probably you know who I think he's underrated as a training partner.
Yeah.
I think Dennis Saplenko.
Yeah, well, we've just seen the name David Dedekan drop there, asking how would you go with him. I see that David Dedekan has kind of been taken under the wing of Denis Saplenkov in recent months as a guide, and yeah, Dennis is one of those.
Salayev, he trains well with Lachlan and Prudnik.
And let's face it, he's not just a strong brute. He's one of those guys that actually has a really technical, well-rounded
Yeah,
game.
Prudnik's another one. He's a very technical human being. I think that would be fun. So yeah, a whole bunch of people, but no one really in the States. Sorry. Trump won.
The best is yet to come. Okay, train with no limits. Training with Devon's always cool, and Devon is one of those
We've
guys
done
that
it before. So.
yeah, we've had that opportunity on multiple occasions, and
It's always right.
it's always awesome. Table time with Devon is great. He allows you to work really well. He will,
You walk away from it always feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Devon is incredibly hospitable too. He'll any arm wrestler basically in terms of this place.
That's the only reason I didn't mention Devon was yes, Devon, but just someone I hadn't trained with before.
My answer to that question would be Krasi, to be honest. I've been thinking about that for a while. I would love to go to his gym, train with Krasi, train with Jordan Sonev.
Yeah, I did a little bit of after pulling with Jordan Zloty. No, that was an interesting exchange. He hadn't competed. When he let me tee off, I pinned him. But then when it was like his turn, that didn't go well for me.
Yeah. What else we got? Ryan, you've pulled both Mato Orangi and Lachlan recently. Honest opinion right now, who would win a six-round match? Is that all? And it's a Kiwi asking Tuku Hepi. My honest opinion is Lachlan will win pretty substantially. I can't, as you guys can see from recent videos, and this is no disrespect to Mato Orangi, but personally, I can't do anything to Lachlan right now. His fundamentals are too strong, and all options are gone for me right now.
I think with Mate, because I pulled him, what was it, 2.5 years ago now? The difference is yes, now, longer than that. It's 3 years, I think. I wasn't taking arm wrestling seriously. I was still powerlifting for the most part. But the turnaround, the big turn of events was Lottie, because I worked out very quickly that no one really had a stronger arm than me. But my hand and my wrist was failing. And since then, so that's 2 years ago now, I've pretty much been just training hand and wrist exclusively. And the arm it gets not nearly as much focus as it once did, but it's certainly kept up, and now I'm able to use the whole chain.
And I want to finish on Mato Orangi before we answer the next one. What I feel with Mato Orangi is that he has a really dangerous ace on his back pressure pronation. He's clearly a strong dude, but his containment is lacking in comparison to Lachlan's. And this is, again, styles make matches, and he may present problems for Lachlan that I can't. But I personally believe that a match for myself with Mato Orangi is a great match. I think that we went 3-3 last time we faced. I think it'd be similar. I think it'd come down to just making the right technical plays at the right time would determine who wins the match. But right now, if I had a life or death match against this guy, I'm dying. It's done. It's pretty much, there's nothing.
There's a good question up here.
Yeah, we're going to scroll back.
Bicep size, I'm sick of that one. About 21 inches.
How much can Lachlan bench press?
No, I'm not a big bencher, man. I can JM press 100 kilos for a couple of reps, but I can't bench for shit. I never have.
Combined New Zealand and Oz team versus the world. New Zealand's actually coming along really well. When I went to Mato Orangi's his home in New Zealand, the club was thriving there. It was really impressive what the club was doing. Yeah, we got another super chat. The club was thriving. There was
Thanks, Tim.
Tim Pipey, the man, thank you for the $5, sir. There was a couple of guys in there that, when I gripped, just felt legit. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. There was a guy there that looked like Jordan the Reacher and
Yeah, I
long
saw
and
that.
lanky, and he cooked really well. There was a short hooker that was just like, well, I let him get into that hook. I'm like, oh man, you are connected in here. And it was real. And I'm like, wow.
Like an SK connection? Or?
Yeah, like an SK connection, like proper, like you aren't pulling him out of his shoulder. You just not. You have to pin him by taking everything over. Yeah. And it was hard.
Little shout. Seon Cook, SK. It's our Korean friend. He's underrated. I really like him. Lucky versus Yellow. Yeah, one day, if he wants it. He's a super hospitable dude, so I'm sure that will be something that will be in the future. Hand in the way. See how Mike.
Are you excited to see how Mike Todd comes back? I think he has to be inspired now.
I'm curious.
I asked John Brzenk this the other day on our live, and I asked him, do you think Michael Todd is still a threat to Levan, and where does Michael Todd sit? And John gave the answer that, yeah, absolutely, he's still a threat to Levan. Just Devon, what Devon did to him, I don't think changes where Michael sits in the world relative to other people. Devon's got a tool set, and he came with a newfound power that made Michael look like he wasn't himself, but Michael's still himself. Michael says he's the strongest version he's been. I still think that Michael is incredibly dangerous to everyone on the planet. And I think that his motivation since that match, no doubt, will peak. What he does with that motivation, it will be interesting to see. But I don't know, is he looking for a style change? Is he just trying to get bigger? What's he going to do at this stage of his career? That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched his videos, but I'm sure he has a plan. I've got to think maybe if he added more wrist flexion, because he puts everything onto his pronation, as you'll see in our training match. It's like
Montias' favourite Pink Floyd song.
Huh?
Favourite Pink Floyd song.
What's that? Cash Money?
Yeah, Money. Yeah, that's pretty lame, that one. I'd
know.
go Comfortably Numb.
Yeah, I don't really do Pink Floyd, man.
Matt Tawarangi versus Marcus. Someone's asked there.
I think that'd actually be a good match. Sorry, Mate, but he's feeling deadly now.
Yeah, Marcus is leveling up. He's got a super match next weekend with Mario Timbakis. Poor old Mario Timbakis is on a terrible losing streak. Yeah. And I think Marcus is going to perpetuate that.
Fat Devon versus Hermes. I think Fat Devon. Lachlan versus Ongabayev. He's explosive. That I will win, but it's going to hurt. The combined weight is like 500 kilos. Of who?
No idea. Devon.
I'd like a match with Hermes. There's lots of people I'd like matches with.
Careful, you'll end up with the delusional Lachlan Adair.
True. I just said I'd like it. Okay. I'd like lots of things. I'd like lots of things, but my sights are set on Mr. Todd Hutchins. Let's just stay there for a bit. What opponent would Lachlan pick from Hutchins, Jerry Cadderat, Nasma, or Todd Hutchins?
Yeah.
I just said that.
We're scrolling through your
Devon
comments at the moment,
destroy
trying to make sense of this.
I'm sure he could destroy
Ryan versus Schoolboy in Dubai, October. That is what my wish list is. Nothing's confirmed at this stage, but I've expressed... Yeah, look, I've had chats with Larry and Adam, and they've expressed interest in me being there. I've expressed interest in me being there. I've said, here's my wish list of people. And at the top of those people, I said, yeah, let's have a crack at Schoolboy. I think I can do it. And they said, yeah, that sounds good. Let's see if we make it happen. I think we can make it happen. So we'll see. There's still plenty of ifs, buts, and maybes between now and then. But
Lachlan and Schoolboy, no.
No, Lachlan and Schoolboy is the wrong match.
He needs to get more in his...
Schoolboy, good matches for Schoolboy. I think people like myself, people like Chance Shaw would be a good match for Schoolboy. That level guy. Schoolboy's growing still. He will mature into what he's doing in the sport. And I believe
he'll be one day tremendous. Yeah. I like this question. How much do you speculate John Brzenk can lift from the ground up in pronation? I'm not going to answer that directly the way you like, because the strength that John has is one in being a man that size with a hand that big. And it makes doing anything against him very, very difficult. So it's probably not a crazy amount, but it's one of those things that he just applies his strength so well.
We were in Eric Wolf's gym.
Yeah.
And myself and Eric maxed out, and I
It's a
knew
very specific angle though.
it was.
I mean, I'm from up the ground.
Yeah. But back pressure like this with pronation involved, I was at like 55 that day, and John grabbed the 55 and went like this. So
Beast.
he threw around what
Yeah.
I maxed out and what Eric was maxed out.
Lachlan versus Andre Smythe.
We got another super chat from Southwest Arm Wrestler. $5 says, Lachlan, what adjustments have you made to accommodate having smaller hands as a heavyweight? You got smaller hands.
Here's the thing. This is really funny.
Little hands.
People think I have little hands because of the meat bag, right?
Yeah.
And I got very thick wrist up here. I don't know. It's like super,
You've got a 9-inch wrist there.
Yeah.
I'm 8.5, 8.75.
Yeah.
You're 9.
So people have this illusion that I have a small hand. And when they grip up with me, they go, "Oh, it's not small." It's just because I look small because I'm so damn thick. But
like relative to my hand, let's. How are we doing this? Yeah. What are we doing here? Let's get the. You see, Lachlan's hand. It's bigger than mine. My hand is. Let's line it up again. That's lined up.
Yeah, just a little
bit. There it is. My hand is 8 inches, so you're 8.25 inch from there to there. So.
And I forget what I am around the fist, but it's like I don't have good dinner plate hands, man. I don't have hands, but that's funny.
But anyway, how do you accommodate having those small hands?
Monster fingers. So how I do that is I squeeze the shit out of a towel while I'm driving on my commute to work. Hundreds of reps, thousands of reps.
Clamping, fingers.
Fingertips, lots of fingertip.
I definitely believe that fingers are, right now anyway, I believe fingers are more valuable than wrist flexion.
Oh, as a heavyweight. No, he means as a super heavyweight.
Okay.
Just remember, I'm not a super heavyweight. I compete in super heavyweights in Australia, but that's more just about the pool of competitors. I compete at light heavyweight at 105 kilos, so they're more guys with my similar anthropologies.
Let's scroll down to the bottom.
To answer the question for me versus Smythe, he's really new. I mean, if you're talking about a pull-up competition, yeah, cool. Let's go. But arm wrestling, I'm going to smack him all day, every day.
How about a match with Gennady, Lucky?
I'd like to train with Gennady.
Yeah. Here's the thing about...
Ryan, do you train legs? No.
Yeah, I don't train legs. Fucking no, definitely not. Here's the thing. We've been kept in this cage of Australia for a long time. The reason we haven't been able to travel is simply because when we return, we have to spend 2 weeks in a hotel.
Yeah, because
and we have to pay for
Morrison is a pussy.
And there's a limited number of flights that return to Australia because there's a limited number of spots in the hotels. And they get cancelled all the time. And when they get cancelled, you don't get your money back and you get a flight 3 weeks later. So it's too much of an impact on life.
Families.
So we can't do it. We have a bubble between New Zealand and Australia now that's just opened like a couple of months ago. And hence I was over there for honeymoon the other week. Yeah. But the rest of the world, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's too long away from the kids. I've got a newborn.
I will take the 2-week quarantine if I'm on the King of the Table card. If they're still there, I'll do it for that. Like that's a big enough event that I'll do it.
My kids are still too little.
If you got given Hutchins at that event, would you take the 2-week quarantine? You'd negotiate that into your deal, say, look, you've got to pay for my hotel quarantine and some, and then I'll do it.
Yeah, like loss of wages for me. Like I run my own business, so I've got to factor that in too. So. Lockie versus Corey. I'm not bothering. It's just Hutchins. Okay. Once I get that done, the world's my oyster.
We got another super chat. Let's have a look. From Dominic Krebs. He's donated 5 CHFs. What do you reckon a CHF is?
$2.20.
What nation's it from? With Dominic Krebs, and he's asked about Dmitry Salayev. Maybe it's some form of Eastern European.
Super heavyweight. Remember, I'm a 105 kilo puller.
But someone like Salayev, for you, to me, that's a good match. Of course, it's a good match. Salayev is, if I think of arm wrestlers in this part of the world that are similar, I think of Matsuo Back pressure, pronation. He's not committing forward into the hook. He wants to take your wrist. He's going to be explosive. He's got a thick hand on him. Salayev's a big dude.
I mean, for the minute, the goals are let's just slay my own.
We just need to get out of the cage and actually arm wrestle some people.
Yeah, all of this is it's opinion. We don't know because we kind of progress quite steadily together for the most part, and we don't realise how much we've progressed until we verse someone who we might have used to struggle with, and now we're just planting them to the floor. So
and we've seen that here in Australia. We've seen that really significantly. There's no one in Australia that can train with you to give you any value at all, no matter how much you give them away. Like I have to put a band on, or I have to ask you to not use a fundamental, or I have to hold my arm like this and try to contain like that. Like Lachlan's gone to a level that's not paralleled in Australia as far as I'm concerned, and I've now got to a level where the guys that used to beat Lachlan used to beat me, and I'm now beating. And Ryan Scott felt quite comfortable. Mario Timbakis felt quite comfortable. Who else? Andy Lee felt really comfortable.
Mind you, I've only ever lost to Mario once, and that's
in your first
like
3 months or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got going? Scrolling to the bottom again. Josh Buck says, appreciate what you boys do for the sport. Every time I have had questions, you guys help. Australia is lucky to have you. International guys have no idea what's coming.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, I appreciate Josh. And Josh Parker himself, if you've never seen Josh Parker pull, he's known as, the guys in his club call him, they call him Mr. Tendons or something?
Yeah, because he just presses off.
One of the most savage side pressure presses off the go. I hadn't gripped Josh Parker before. And when I went down to South Australia, I got on the side table with Josh, and I'd seen this savage press that he had, and I wanted to know if I could hold it. And I said to Josh, do your thing. And I didn't run from it. I thought I'm gonna take it and hold it. And he just put me straight down. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hold that. I'm gonna run from that.
knows how to put his frame behind it.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Bozhidar is.
Bozhidar Simonov just beat Tony Katowski.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Different weight class.
Yeah, very different weight class. Bozhidar under 80 kilos, Lachlan 107.
My mum was ginger, so I'm like, okay. Do you think I could win against Mike Elliott?
He's a good matchup. Yes. Lachlan Adair v Tobias Sporong, Timmy Turner.
Yeah,
I agree. Tobias Sporong's. I put Tobias in the same category as Corey West. I put him in the same category as Lachlan Adair. There's a bunch of next chapter guys.
You honestly think you could beat Ongabai? Why not?
I
don't know. Like I said, I don't know.
A delusional Lachlan
I'm just
series
saying,
if you
I don't know. We don't know.
No. But we're not
question,
scared
who do
to
you think
find
you can
out.
beat? It's like, yeah, exactly. But a yellow, I've got data on him. I think I beat him now. Everyone else is like, I don't have data.
That's this question here.
I'm looking to get the rank.
Ryan, are you in the top 30 in the world? If so, who is above you? Look, people baiting me for more delusional Ryan Bowen comments.
We don't know.
We don't know. Like I said, I'm not scared to find out. That's the most important thing. Is we will travel anywhere as soon as we are allowed to.
Message retracted from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We got another super chat.
Going,
we got another super chat. The Joe Show, $4.99. You're the man, Joe. He says the best arm wrestler you've never heard of. I'm gonna make a statement at the 95 kilo IFA Worlds from the Joe Show. Oh, man, there we go.
Cool.
The Joe Show. We'll remember it.
Do you think the multi-spinner is a gimmick? No.
No, the multi-spinner is also, I call it the critical spinner.
Which of you?
And the critical spinner is what you all need to now talk about that as, because for me, that's the handle that can best replicate the critical moments that you need to strengthen, the little integrities that you need to build in order to win center.
It's a handle that, don't get me wrong, it's a pain in the ass, but once you get it cinched in, just keep it connected. And just train one arm at a time if you are so inclined to do both. Which one of you going to destroy Bradley Martin and Steve?
Who's Bradley Martin?
The guy from Zoo Culture. Okay. Destroy him at what?
No idea.
He can probably
after
sink
15-0 flashing Ryan, who are you coming over here to pull? Who's been cheeky? Daniel Urich. I love Daniel Urich. Good man. He's in every live chat there he is. So after flashing me 15-0, what's next? What's next over here? Yeah, who are you coming over here? Where's he? Is Daniel Urich from the USA?
I don't know.
But same sort of questions.
He looks like he doesn't have that hand connected yet. No, he doesn't. He needs more wrist
Lachlan v Danny Tesh. Who wins? Lachlan doesn't buy into the hype of Danny Tesh. Okay, Lachlan has Well, you've known Danny for a long time, haven't you?
Long, like 10 years, yeah.
10 years.
Longer.
Danny, when you were in your first year, had a victory over you on left, in Queensland.
Left, and I beat him right-handed. Yeah. And then I kind of flogged him in training.
And then Danny never pulled Lachlan again. Ryan, are you delusional? I saw a question there.
You'll see.
I have unwavering confidence in my own ability to just keep going forward. That's what I have.
Lockie and Chance Shaw, I think that's better suited for this man.
Lockie and Chance Shaw. My goodness.
Not yet, Chance. Not yet.
I know Chance has had a great progression, and Chance is doing well, and he's taking names, and he's winning. And I love that. He's embracing more of his own potential. I remember laughing at him when he told me he was going to become a middleweight. I'm glad he's not trying to do that anymore, and he's actually just embracing super heavyweight. But Chance Shaw, I like seeing people that I've beaten go on and beat other people. And I'll tell you right now, anyone that thinks Chance Shaw has left me behind, you're kidding yourselves. I'd beat him again tomorrow.
Lachlan versus Paulin. He don't want none of this. Do you think being delusional is a positive? Yes, there's light and dark to every personality trait. And yes.
Do you see Jordan Davis being a threat to either of you over the top? He's a threat to me. I'll acknowledge that. I'm not going to deny that.
Hey, David Grenier. Jordan, no.
Rank these 8 arm wrestlers. Ryan Bowen, Lachlan Adair, Jordan Davis, Derek Smith, Mike Aiello, Artem Morozov, Grigory... Hang on, we're losing it. Grigory Yusharov, and Alexander Bazyeskov, being aka Schoolboy. Well, for me straight away, there's 2 names I'm unfamiliar with. So, Morozov's a monster. That just came to me. Morozov's a freaking monster.
Let's do it in groups. So I think I'm in the same group as.
Who's last on that list? Right there. Jordan.
Alexander.
Schoolboy v Jordan. That's an interesting match.
I don't know, Bazzy. Oh, that's different.
It's Schoolboy. It's not little.
It's not Mr. Top Roll.
No, it's Schoolboy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jordan at the bottom.
Jordan at the bottom.
Then I don't know who Grigory is, but he sounds like a badass, so we'll just put him there.
That's the one dude I don't know. I apologise for not knowing. I got criticised earlier today for not knowing Eastern European superstars. Clearly, this is another one. Sorry, Grigory.
It's hard. I think you and Derek Smith is an interesting match.
Derek, no, I'm gonna concede on Derek because of just what I'm seeing from Derek. Like, he's 6'8", he's 160 kilos, and he has publicly said he's doing everything possible within the realm of humans to become the best in the world. He wants to be Levine.
So who do we rank? So then there's you. And
so
then
I'm gonna happy go put
Derek
Jordan, then
Mike.
Jordan, then Schoolboy, then me, then Derek, then Mike, then you, then Morozov at the top. Morozov monstered WAF super heavyweights.
Fucking animal.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
to what extent? And
good question.
It's proven. But yeah, good question. Worth $10. Thank you. To what extent do you think the unfamiliarity with WAF was detrimental to all the West athletes yesterday? Well, Mac Mask already answered this question as he grew up on WAF rules. Like, Canada has a really rich history in WAF. With who's their main ref over there? I always talk about it as a WAF ref, and he's like.
Well, it was Leonard Harkless, but then it.
No, he was North America. There's one in Canada.
Yeah.
Anyway, their meat and potatoes is WAF rules. It's WAL thing, like, it's only been around for a couple of years, and it's not even been around the last couple of years, and the guys have been competing on these guys are arm wrestlers, man. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think it makes more of a difference for the Euros coming over to do WAL, because they're not quite used to how much you can get away with in setups. I think the Euros rely on the refs quite heavily to get what they want, where the Americans make their own fate, if you will.
Benzo Swanzo asks, on average, how many reps do you guys do with arm wrestling handles? Me personally, throughout the week, my general structure to my week is 3 days table time. I try to have an equivalent 1RM day on the table. I try to have an equivalent volume day, and I try to have an equivalent speed day on the table. And then around those things, I hit a lot of reps. I almost don't count my reps. I just spend time working on the reps that I think need most attention with the handles coming from vectors that I feel I need. I'm always on the quest to plug holes and enhance weaknesses and try to progress it for me in a balanced. I'm not an arm wrestler who's trying to develop one ace. I'm trying to develop all of the counters simultaneously. So I'm very much spending a lot of time. I'm spending probably per week, maybe 10 hours on handles for me personally.
So I do deadlifts once a week, I squat once a week. I have like an overall tricep shoulder day or chest day. Triceps is always really related to the arm wrestling, and I use my arm wrestling handles to train my triceps for the most part, except for a couple of heavily barbell movements. But I mean, I train 6 to 7 days a week, and 4 of that is very specific work. Well, 2, maybe 3 days of that is very specific on the table in front of the cables, because I have 3 of them. And then the other days I might be like more like bicep curls and stuff like that. Stuff that's related to arm wrestling, but it's less specific. So the bulk, I have a lot of handles. So I use them a lot. How many weeks? I try to keep my training to around 10 hours a week. In total, all of it, and I blast through reps. So it kind of starts off with more of a heavier compound thing, and then the rest of the workout I do circuits and shit like that. Just to.
Josh Barker asked, does the Vanilla Gorilla enjoy arm wrestling? And Fox A Ball says Vanilla Gorilla is a star in the making. Very much so. The answer is yes, he enjoys it. He says to me he wants to beat Devin Larratt. He's setting his eyes right at the top. He tells me that he is crushing everyone at school. No one. He says he teaches the kids in the year groups below him. He says the kids in his year group he just kind of holds until they give up, and he says he has to go hard on the kids in the years above him. But very routinely when I pick up Bradley from school, there's a bunch of boys arm wrestling, and it's Bradley sitting there, king of the table, and they're all keen to, can I pin Bradley today? Can I pin Bradley today? So yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
Sachin make me admin? No. You're already annoying. How's your left? We had an interesting discussion about my left to right arm now. So previously, I'm left-handed, right? I write with my left, I do a lot with my left. And the fingernails on my left hand would always grow faster. But something that's happened the last couple of months is the fingernails now on my right hand, because obviously not the finger that I chopped off, nothing's growing there. My whole body is now switched, like neurological. I now grow my fingernails faster on my right hand. So yeah, my right hand is now probably a clean 10% more than my left. It also kind of feels weird to arm wrestle with my left these days. So I still train it with weights, but it doesn't really get much table time. Sachin, please don't be rude.
Sachin, guess what, my friend? You have just been put on a timeout. There we go. I literally put him in a timeout. I didn't know you could do that, but that's cool. Sachin's now in a timeout. I don't know when he gets let out of the timeout, but hey, Sachin's in a timeout. Bye-bye, Sachin. Look at everyone say, bye-bye, Sachin. That's funny. Oh my goodness.
He's gonna get your show shut down.
Yeah, I know he's gonna. Yeah, he's gonna contact his Argentinian hacker mates, and next minute I'll be out. I saw someone. I forget who it was. Sorry, scroll up. There was someone asking, and I said it a few times. Asking if we've been contacted for a potential match in the King of the Table in November? Yes, we have. Yes, there's talks, negotiations. They are, as far as I understand, they are a long way away from setting any sort of card yet, but they are putting the feelers out as to which matches will make the most impact in the arm wrestling world. At the end of the day, they've got to make sure they make a profit in a pay-per-view. So our nominations were, yes, I would love to take on Schoolboy. Yes, he would love to take on Toddzilla, and we believe that would generate quite a significant bit of interest. Not to mention betting. A lot of money would be on that match with you and Todd Hutchins in particular. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would be willing to bet on Schoolboy over me too, and I think we could clean up. I'd be putting some cash down. So yes, we've been contacted, but nothing is confirmed. So don't go quoting me saying I'm frigging telling the world that I'm on it. But yes, we have been spoken to about it.
Eric Spotto, got no data on him, man.
Yeah.
He's a big ass dude.
Just so you guys know, I don't know, I got 15% left on my phone, so we got a little bit of time left, but we're going to run out eventually. You two versus Toddzilla and Schoolboy would be absolutely epic from Paddy Ryan. That's the man who was asked the question. I appreciate that, Paddy Ryan. Yeah, I think it would be. That's a match that has a good storyline on both sides. It's interesting.
Taking words out of my mouth. No, it'd be. We have no data. Shut up about Ongabayam. I'm not going to say, oh, he beat me. Chop my dick off now.
Paul Talbot v Ryan Bowen.
Paul Talbot's been on a quiet tear lately, hasn't he? Every time I see him, he's cleaning up.
Paul Talbot, yeah, I'd happily pull him too. I think he'd be a fascinating match. I know Danny Tesh had wars with him.
He's one of those dudes that you're like, how the fuck did you make that weight?
Yeah. He's a big dude, and you see that in lightweights, and you're like, no. He walks around heavier than me naturally. Like he's a 96, 97 kilo guy.
Yeah.
I would have to gain at least 10 kilos to be competitive with Schoolboy. I would absolutely. You would see freaking Super Ryan turn up to that event, trust me.
Remember Saban Bedalesco? Yes, we do.
Yeah, I remember him.
I like Saban.
Schoolboy, more like school bus. Don't sleep on him, Ryan. That's a good one. I would not sleep.
Fat Blue.
Fat Blue, yeah. We'll see Pancake, Fat Blue, McDouble Blue, that's it. We get all of that. I'll happily turn up with chins and my tits will be bigger and all this sort of stuff. But I would not sleep on Schoolboy by any stretch. I respect him absolutely. He's been pulling committed as an arm wrestler for as long as I have. He started as a 15-year-old or whatever. But 8 years in to the sport for both of us, I take my hat off to him. I don't think he's taken his foot off the accelerator at any point in time, and therefore I assume that we have a similar level of conditioning to the sport. It's only fair to assume that. And it's going to come down to technical execution. Yes, he's a bigger guy, but it doesn't bother me. I'm happy to take on any bigger dude, and I think he and I would be at a similar level. So when people say no disrespect, I have no chance. People said that about my last 11 super matches too, and I won every one of them.
There was a comment up there about a young guy who was doing the gymnastics rounds. If you're a young guy and you don't have access to the gym, you're not allowed to go. You want your kids to get involved and stuff like that. I really do think the gym rings are probably the best and safest and funnest thing to get kids into, to get their elbows conditioned and all those are like, I think arm wrestlers and gymnasts, or guys who are really heavy on the rings, were the only ones that has a big pronator in the middle of their arm. So it's a really, like I said, a fun, good, safe way to get young people moving properly, so when they do hit the weight room, they really know how to move their body. So I think that's a good place to start.
Slicker asked Ryan, can you bleed Schoolboy in a hook? Yes. But he's a very powerful top roller. How can you counter that? Yeah, he is. In top roll, it's very clear what his weapon would be. He would be looking to take control of my hand and wrist. But I would cite my match with Ryan Scott if you want to see how I would handle Schoolboy.
You're good with that, man.
Yeah, Ryan Scott, formerly the #1 ranked Australian arm wrestler, someone who has pins on Ron Barth, someone who has pins on Matteo Rangi, someone
for his top roll.
For a top roll, yeah, and I countered his top roll quite effectively, and even in one round, he took my wrist, and I still won with side pressure and just shoulder commitment. So I would do much the same, or attempt to do much the same in a technique sense to Schoolboy as I did to Ryan Scott.
Can't write Travis off, not Travis.
What time is it where we are? What is the time?
I don't know, like 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, 10 p.m. I've almost been awake for 24 hours.
There's a couple of, we scrolled through a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah. Question, your prediction on the outcome of Engen-Makarov match, had they completed all rounds? Well, Engen made a post I saw on Facebook that said he injured his bicep in round 2, and he showed a photo of
he tore it.
Yeah, there's a tear. So it's hard to know. I think Makarov, if there was no injury and it continued, Makarov was making some adjustments, but Engen did look good. He was controlling the setup and controlling the starts. He was getting a couple of early jumps. I think the refs were on Engen's side. They were allowing a lot of load and a lot of bizarre movement. It looked a little bit like WAL, to be honest, when Engen was pulling. But I think that Makarov would have fought back and it would have been a close match. Hard to say which way it goes.
Shout out to Ray though, he did a pretty good job at covering all the undercards, and Hermes put it free. His match was super glitchy and annoying to watch. I had to watch it.
Do your wives enjoy arm wrestling?
No.
I'd say no if we're talking specifically about Joanne arm wrestling, no.
No, Heather, no. They enjoy the gossip. Well, I don't know about yours, but mine does. She thinks this stuff is funny.
Adair v current shape Bajent left. Ooh.
Left.
Ooh. That current shape Bajent left, I think
Current shape, he's a
if that
he's
means
a pussy.
it means yeah. Travis
He
is
doesn't
someone.
even train. He doesn't even train. Doesn't even eat carbs. Doesn't do nothing. I mean,
You say he doesn't eat carbs.
no, I remember him saying he
Yeah.
just tries to just stay trim.
Lachlan fears 110 kilo Danny Tesh.
I've known 110 kilo Danny Tesh. It's weird
Yeah.
because he's still got those skinny legs. Skinnier legs than you, Blue.
I really hope Danny does get interested again in the sport because I think he hasn't missed the boat. He can always come back and within 2 or 3 years be relevant again on the international level. I genuinely think he can.
I think he's enjoying not having sore elbows because his arm wrestling style is very sore elbow-ish esque. My breakdown on the matches. Oh, yeah, that's for another video.
Yeah.
There's a lot of matches.
Logsdon v Bowen, that'd be Bill Logsdon. I think Bill's a 176 pounder. So much respect to Bill. I remember watching Bill on Game of Arms. I've chatted with him a few times over the years. I think we're in a different weight category, but
Tin Pot, Danny and Doug. Danny and Doug are both retired.
I'm trying to get Doug to do a training session with me. I just want to go up and group up with him, see where he's at, and get him motivated again. Because Doug's one of those guys that genetically possesses all the right tools. He's got a forearm that looks like a lamb roast.
Yeah.
Just off the bat.
Do I have anyone in the future locally? Ben Carroll in September.
Fat McCass, $2.
Number one and number one.
Hey, look, it's number one and number one. It is, yeah. I'm the technical number one. You're the actual number one. Funny.
How much? Well, okay, we answered that question. We're talking. How much does intelligence come into the match? Zuluev was the best example of how to win a match intelligently.
Yeah, because Todd was winning the battle of fatigue. It looked like Zoloev was running out of strength in his arm.
Yeah, but Zoloev kind of foxed him.
Yeah.
Made him do what he wanted him to, so he could win. So
He led him into the trap and then drowned him in it. And that trap was, he made Todd believe it was safe to attempt to slip with the top rope. It wasn't safe, as we found out, and as Todd found out moments after the go.
Brian, have you thought about dominating the lightweights? In Australia, you have multiple times.
Yeah, I did. I did many times. 7% of my battery, guys. We're going to wrap this up in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So if you have a really vital question.
Yeah, I'm going to answer this one because it's a misconception. Was Danny Tash jam stop more tendon, frame, or muscle dependent? Okay, more joint because tendons connect muscle to the bone, so we can't segregate the two. But you can expose your joint more and jam up into your frame, so it's more of a ligament type stop. But
Danny did have phenomenal integrity in his joints.
He did.
For me, one moment that I'll never forget, I was...
It's the last time you rested.
Well, yeah, but in the gym, I'll never forget this moment. I was pushing pretty good numbers on side pressure. I'd been training under Todd Hutchins for some time at that point, and I had got an opportunity to be in the gym with Danny, and
Danny has more integrity than God.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And I got in there, and not knowing what Danny's side pressure and 1RM were, I thought, I'll do this 1RM with Danny. I did my 1RM, and it was very genuinely my 1RM. Danny picked it up and 10 repped it. And I'm like, what the fuck? So elbow integrity has always been a big thing for Danny, and he's a slow-moving diesel sort of puller.
7%, someone sent in a really good question. How big are your schlongs? Well, you just answered it in the question, bruv. Would you go against? Yes.
It's the same questions.
Yes.
Who you got, Devon or Levine?
Levine.
I got Devon.
Yeah, I got Levine.
Lachlan, are you going to participate in Zloty too?
Probably not this year, but the year after. It's just a lot of travel, man. My end of year is pretty hectic, man. So.
If there's no quarantine on return to Australia, trust me, I'll get this guy to the Zloty. I won't let him not. My phone is giving me all sorts of warning signs. We're down to 5%, so we're going to wrap this up in 2 minutes. Ryan, what is your walk around weight in pounds? Or in pounds, I'm 217 pounds right now. 216 pounds right now.
All right, Super Match Series this weekend over at the Gold Coast. We're not competing. I'll try and get there after work.
Big Marcus Atiro against Mario Timbuktus is the match of the day, and also Phil Rasmussen against Sam Bennett.
Yeah, what's my arm size? About 21 inches. That's Sachin again. That's Sachin.
Sachin's out of the box. He got out of his timeout just before.
Big anus or big shoulders?
Sachin,
big shoulders.
I hope you learned your lesson. I hope you're a very good boy and you thought about what you did and don't do it again.
Well, after pull you lucky. Cool, man. Well, if I'm not here, when do you go home? Just ask me on the day. And you can come to my mighty shed.
Sachin still loves us. Thank you, Sachin.
Thank you.
Well done. All right, guys, we're going to end that there. Thank you for tuning in. It was good fun. We'll do this again.
Vitaly or Devon? I got Devon to win that one.
Ooh, Ryan, can you do a video on the evolution of Lachlan? The evolution of Lachlan? That's too much editing.
It's too
much editing, guys.
Yeah.
There's someone the dude out there who did the rise of Danny Tesh. He could probably do it because he did a great job there.
I don't know. I got to compete first.
Haven't got that time. Anyway,
right.
Let's one more super chat with 100 something or others.
That was a couple of dollars.
Which male arm wrestler would you kiss if you let them? Oh, gee, no thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks. All right.
Would you kiss if you let them?
What does that
That's
even
a
mean?
weird question.
Super chat that. Gee whiz. Maybe he's trying to pick up in the comments section. I don't know.
Maybe he's that guy that was going around in the comments section for ages that was asking us to hurt him with our strong hands. And we kept on referring him to Chris Golly. Yeah, he hit up all of us. It was weird.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, you should contact Chris Golly. He loves those sorts of things.
Alright guys, we're out of here. Have a good night.